Blog Talk Radio.
Now let's set the record straight. There's no argument over the choice between peace and war, but there's only one guaranteed way you can have peace, and you can have it in the next second. Surrender. Admittedly, there's a risk in any course we follow other than this, but every lesson of history tells us that the greater risk lies in appeasement, and this is the specter our well-meaning liberal friends refuse to face, that their policy of accommodation is appeasement. And it gives no choice between peace and war, only between fight or surrender. If we continue to accommodate, continue to back and retreat, eventually we have to face the final demand, the ultimatum. And what then? When Nikita Khrushchev has told his people he knows what our answer will be. He has told them that we're retreating under the pressure of the Cold War, and someday, when the time comes to deliver the final ultimatum, our surrender will be voluntary, because by that time, we will have been weakened from within spiritually, morally, and economically. He believes this because from our side he's heard voices pleading for peace at any price, or better rev than death, or as one commentator put it, he'd rather live on his knees than die on his feet. And therein lies the road to war, because those voices don't speak for the rest of us. You and I know and do not believe that life is so dear and peace so sweet as to be purchased at the price of chains and slavery. If nothing in life is worth dying for, when did this begin? Just in the face of this enemy? Or should Moses have told the children of Israel to live in slavery under the pharaohs? Should Christ have refused the cross? Should the patriots at Concord Bridge have thrown down their guns and refused to fire the shot heard round the world? The martyrs of history were not fools, and our honored dead who gave their lives to stop the advance of the Nazis didn't die in vain. Where then is the road to peace? Well, it's a simple answer after all. You and I have the courage to say to our enemies, there is a price we will not pay, there is a point beyond which they must not advance. Winston Churchill said the destiny of man is not measured by material computations. When great forces are on the move in the world, we learn we're spirits, not animals. And he said there's something going on in time and space and beyond time and space, which, whether we like it or not, spells duty. You and I have a rendezvous with destiny. We'll preserve for our children this, the last best hope of man on earth, or we'll sentence them to take the last step into 1,000 years of darkness.
All right, everybody, Joseph Gibson podcasting here worldwide, understanding the times in which we live today. We'll have the open forum, and tonight we don't have any scheduled guests, so tonight if you want to call in and you want to be part of the podcast, that's fine. You can voice your opinion. You want to talk about this, what's the guy's name that got choke slammed, or what happened? The knee got in his throat or what? I don't know, something. They're rallying all around the country, and, we're all going to, what's happening? What's happening out there? Can someone, give me some live reports or tell me what's going on? I know today in Greensboro they shut down the damn Wendover Avenue. I drove into Greensboro, damn, everything's shut down because, they're out there. I guess they were out there marching from what I heard. I don't know. Marching for what? What are they marching for? What are they doing? Were they going to burn down some buildings? Are they going to burn down some small business owners? I mean, what's going on? Why aren't these people being stopped? Well, I mean, is this liberty? What's the point here? I don't understand it. Maybe someone can help me out with that, or give me some live reports. That would be great. I would really like to hear what people have to say from around the country and what they're witnessing and what their stance is on this, because we're only proving what I've set out to do from the very beginning when I started this show, is that nothing's going to happen. We're going to end up in America's took. It's been shook, and we've been hijacked for so long now that we don't even know our own way. We don't even know what we're fighting for. You got, they're painting with yellow paint in Washington, D.C., right in front of the White House, Black Lives Matters. Well, why would you say Black Lives Matter? Why wouldn't you say, hey, we're all human beings here, we need to figure this out? Or how about we're one republic, justice for all? How about something else that's Black Lives Matter? Why would they put that on the street? And first of all, who the hell paid for all that goddamn paint? I mean, that's a lot of paint. Paint is freaking expensive. Who the hell paid for that? Black Lives Matter. Come on, man. I don't need to hear that crap. I don't want to hear it. But if you want to talk about it, you can. I'll be on here in about 3 minutes live. All you got to do is call in 657-383-0616, and I'll get you on here live, okay?
Well, I have a number of people from whom I get policy. I'm talking to Frank Gaffney. I talked to Richard Haas.
And Richard Haas served under Colin Powell during this Bush administration over at the State Department. He's now the president of the Council on Foreign Relations.
The seed in our homeland, boys, let it grow where all can see. Feed it with our devotion, boys, call it the Liberty Tree. It's the tall old tree and the strong old tree. And we are the sons, yes, we are the sons of liberty. Save it from the storm, boys, water down its roots with tea. And the sun will always shine on the old Liberty Tree. It's the tall old tree and the strong old tree. And we are the sons, yes, we are the sons of liberty. March along with the fight, we're boys, we were born forever free. Let's go.
In the councils of government, we must guard against the acquisition of unwarranted influence, whether sought or unsought, by the military-industrial complex.
In Dallas, Texas, 3 shots were fired at President Kennedy's motorcade in downtown Dallas. The first reports say that President Kennedy has been seriously wounded by this shooting.
It is a big idea, a new world order.
It was almost as if it were a planned implosion. It just pancaked.
Either you are with us or you are with the terrorists.
But I also believe that a lot of gun owners would agree that AK-47s belong in the hands of soldiers, not in the hands of criminals.
All right, everybody. Joseph Gibson here, podcasting live while understanding the times in which we live today. Obviously, a lot of events have occurred since our last show, and we've done some shows here where we've gotten to the root and core and the destruction of why our society and our country and our republic has fallen. Where's the militia at? Well, we did a lot of militia shows this year, a lot of them. A lot of people came in here talking about the militia, and you remember the gun rally? You remember that big show we did there about the gun rally? You know, they were up there marching in Virginia, you know, waving around their guns and, you know, marching around in circles, and everybody's eating hot dogs, $10 hot dogs, you know, and, you know, but they didn't get to the Capitol. But then they went to Michigan. They had 7,000 people surround the Capitol of Michigan, and nothing happened. Nothing happened. Governor's still there. She's still there. Matter of fact, she's at home right now, probably in that big old mansion she lives in. It's 8:08 p.m. It's 7:08 out there in Michigan, and she's got her feet up on her recliner laughing at all of you. Look at those suckers out there. Look at this next protest. Yeah, okay. And they're laughing at you. Well, turn on CNN and see what they're saying, honey. Yeah. You know, or you know, and they're counting their money, counting their properties, well, you know, that they got across the world. What's going on? Nothing's changed. Nothing's happened. We have not changed anything. Nobody. I remember somebody came on the show years ago. Oh Lord, what was it? Talking about the Obamacare crap and the website or whatever. The website's going to crash, and there's going to be no health care across the freaking country, and you know, and oh yeah, nothing happened. They're going to impeach Obama. Remember, he was an American citizen. Remember the big story, the birth certificate. Remember that story? Remember that one? Come on, man. Nothing's changed. Nothing's going to happen. I'm going to tell you right now, the only people that have really told what's going to happen, if it's going to change, is the pastors that come on this show and say nothing's going to change until God says it's enough. And when God says it's enough, that's it. Then you're going to know. Because you can march up and down your street corners, you can flash around your freaking AK-47s and your AR-15s or whatever the hell you got, and you know what? Nothing's going to change. The world is still the big screwed up place it always has been, and it will continue to be that way, and nothing is going to change until God says, I've had enough. People say, well, where is your God? You're right. Where is he? I don't know. We went over that many times on this show. I don't know. But when he does come back, we surely are going to know it, from what I understand. So, but I haven't seen it yet. You're right. Nothing has happened. Well, all we got to do is live our lives and carry on with our lives and just keep dealing with the same screwed up crap. Because you know what? Your government is not going to save you. This flu virus that was going to wipe out the world, what happened to the flu virus? Does anyone know? I mean, remember, we were on lockdown. Remember, we were stay in place. And they got also running around brainwashed like hypnotized zombies, you social distancing. Remember that one? Social distancing, and we all got to wear masks. All the people at McDonald's are wearing masks, at Wendy's and everything. I'll wear a mask. You know what I mean? So what's changed? What has happened? I still haven't met one person that really has died from this flu bug. Do I know people die from the flu? Yeah, they do. They get sick and they die. Flu is a bad thing. We've known that for years. I remember Mitch came out here. My friend Mitch, he was calling from Vietnam. He said, we're all going to die. China spread this flu virus out there and they locked down the whole world. And, the economy, what happened to the economy? Nothing. Nothing happened. They gave everybody $1,200 and they shut up. Come on. Nothing's happening, man. Where is the revolution? Where is the revolution? When are people going to really make a difference? Are we having our little skirmishes and battles across the globe? Yes, we are. That'll always happen. I remember back in the Patriot movement, back in the 1990s. I remember the Weaver story. I remember Waco. I remember the Montana Freeman. I remember all this crap that's going on. And still, nothing has changed. Nothing's going to happen. Society just rolls over, and it just, I guess, evolves. And we're evolving into worst-case scenarios of what's going to happen tomorrow because we live in a sick, dumbed-down, morally corrupt society. And it's getting worse every day. How do we change it? We can't. You're not going to change it. You're not going to do anything to change it. And the best thing to do is mind your business, shut up, and go to work and do what you're told. That's what I say. I don't know. How about you guys? What do you say? All right, I'm going to open up the phone lines here. That was my short intro before I got interrupted by everybody. And we'll hear what's the nonsense here tonight. Go ahead, 203 from Connecticut. Go ahead.
203 from Connecticut. Well, I can give you a post update to a BLM rally. And you're absolutely correct, basically. Shut up, go to work, and do as you're told. But leave out the do as you're told. This is America. You're free to do what you want. Just remember, you have to suffer the circumstances of whatever you do, but you're free to do what you want. Getting on to the virus pandemic, that's right. Fauci, whatever the hell his name is. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to say that, but whatever his name is. In the beginning, they were all purporting, shut down America. They call it social distancing. I call it physical distancing. Wear a mask. You're going to die. We're in jeopardy. Millions of people, hundreds of millions of people are going to die. Where is he coming out saying anything now about these crowds that are gathering? Not saying a word. Nothing is being said. I wonder what's up with that. Is he a liar? Is he a fraud? Or is there something going on that we really don't know about? But again, turn off the TV set. Or if you watch the news, pay little attention to it because it generally won't affect you. Your Whitmauer or whatever in Michigan, you're right. She's surrounded and nothing's happening. They're sitting home, turn on CNN, right, just like Pelosi. Pelosi's taking jets back and forth from D.C. to San Francisco, and she's going into one of her $20,000 freezers, pulling out a $12 pint of ice cream, getting her Botox injections. But you can't go to the doctor and get anything, but she can, and she's very happy with it. The post update to the BLM rally. Here in Meridian, Connecticut, I can give you a live update because I was there. I was there because I didn't have any choice but to be there because it was my backyard. The people at the BLM rally were the most highly respected, courteous people I have ever seen. I wish every rally, contest, or whatever that they have down here in downtown Meriden went in such a way. The parking was tough, especially around here because the city closed down every street you couldn't get anywhere near downtown in a vehicle, and the police were hid everywhere where you couldn't see them. At every police officer they could get on duty, many of them were hid, but they didn't need any of them. And I rode my bike around. I spoke with many people, and they were highly intelligent people, and highly
did you have
polite.
Antifa? Was Antifa there? Was Antifa there by any chance?
Well, I didn't look that close. I just drove around on my bike, and I was trying to pay attention to the signs. Don't go this way. Don't go that way. Don't pedal too fast. Don't go too slow. Don't get off your bike. Don't park here. But I didn't see anything like that. But, I heard their general rants that they do. I call them rants, whatever it is. And I heard all that because I was right there. And like I said, I couldn't help it.
Wait a second. What were they protesting? What were they protesting? What was the goal here of this big protest?
I really can't tell you, but I don't know because I didn't pay attention because I'm not interested.
Right.
I'm just giving you the post update. Listen, it doesn't interest me. Like I started off this conversation, I pay no attention. I do what I want. It doesn't matter if it's right or if it's wrong. If it's wrong, I suffer the consequences. If it's right, hey, I'll reap the benefits. I don't know what they're protesting. I can't tell you. And as far as the mayor, Brewster, whatever her name is, of D.C., she had the Public Works Department come out and paint all those letters. So you paid for it. That's who paid for it.
Yeah, I know. That's great. But you said you talked to a few of the people there. What were they? What were they saying? What did they say to you when you were talking? How did that go? That exchange?
They were very concerned that there weren't very many people there like they thought. That's why they blocked off all the roads with concrete barriers, so you couldn't get anywhere near it. As a matter of fact, my home was inside the blocked off area. That's how close I am to it. But they were very concerned that the turnout wasn't as high as they had expected. All the signs, I didn't see any pre-made signs, maybe one or two, like it was put out like a Soros campaign or a Democratic Party convention or something like that. I didn't see many of those. All were handmade, but they were just normal, good people. That's all I can tell you. I mean, they were just concerned there weren't very many people there, and that was it.
No, so nothing got burnt down. They didn't burn anything down. Or they didn't destroy any small businesses or anything like that, right?
No, they did not, and I was well prepared, well in advance for anything that may go wrong. I was well protected, and I took everything into account for, and not that it matters to me anyway, but the thing is, I don't want to go that way, so, if I'm going to go, it's going to be.
Well, what do you think about Donald Trump? He's declaring that a lot of these Antifa. I mean, I don't know if Antifa was there or not, but Antifa is the big one out there that's antagonizing everything, according to the reports we got, and that they're the ones that are inciting violence and whatnot. So, so Antifa must not have been there. So this was a Black Lives Matter demonstration, you're saying, in Meriden, Connecticut?
Yeah, it was right downtown, and it's nice to hear Trump talk about it, but let's see him do something.
Well, what do you mean? Well, see, I don't get it. Black Lives Matter. Why are we? Obviously, all lives matter. Why do people have to step out there and say Black Lives Matter? Because this guy got his knee stomped. He got his knee. Was this cop killed this guy? I mean, if we remember correctly, if everyone knows my personal story, I got beat down by 3 Wallingford, Connecticut detectives in 1991. There was nobody marching in the street for me. I had to walk home with no shoes. They took my shoes, my socks, and made me walk home to beat me up for 3 hours.
You're absolutely correct. Well, I guess they want, the black people want to be treated like white people, I guess, because we have white privilege. Little do they know if they were ever white, they'd find out that they're better off the way they are. But that's beside the point. As far as Black Lives Matter, if the black people are worried about the Black Lives Matter, I think they should be concerned about killing themselves. That's what I think about, because that's the way it's going. I mean, just look at Chicago and everything else, and if they're really concerned about...
How is it there in Meriden? How is it there in Meriden? Is it obviously you must live in a neighborhood that's pretty divided, where you got blacks Hispanics, whatnot, whites, and how is that neighborhood? Is it like a clean, wholesome neighborhood where, you can let your kid run out in the backyard, or you can walk up and down the street at 9 o'clock at night? And I mean, it's just a safe, good place? How is this American experiment working where, all of us are equal and we all need to love each other, and this racial divide is just all but we need to all get along. I mean, how is that working out for you in that neighborhood?
Well, I'll speak about that in 1 second, but Black Lives Matter, if they're really concerned about that, instead of protesting in the streets and unagreeing what they're doing, they should go after Planned Parenthood, because they're killing 40% of the black people. Planned Parenthood, stop the Democratic Party from funding them, because that's what they're doing. The life, where I live, you see, everybody knows me. Nobody bothers me. Anybody who's walking around, I try to talk to everybody that walks by. I'm out in my garden. I have people stop and talk to me. We talk about gardening. We talk about other things. We talk about what I'm growing, black, white, yellow, red, green, whatever the color person is, because they all stop. They come by. I hand them a cucumber. I hand them a tomato. I hand them a melon. I hand them some beans, whatever they want.
No. Hang on a second. Didn't you say come in one time into the show and say that the Mexicans over there were loud and they were singing off their porch and whatnot, and
I'm getting there.
Tried to contact
I'm getting to that point.
All right. I just want to make sure. Okay.
But it's a totally mixed community here. We have all kinds, like I said. The people walking by generally don't live on this street. They're walking from someplace else, because I'm right downtown. But the Mexicans, they have their culture. This is their culture. They're loud, they're dirty, and they're noisy. That's their culture. They don't mean any disrespect. I guess, I don't know. I've never been in Mexico. That's the way they live there. So they think that's the way they should live here. And they shouldn't. But the bottom line is they're good people, but their culture is all wrong. Now, who's to say for me to affect their culture? I don't want to affect their culture. But when a culture is affecting me to where I can't even think, then that's wrong. When you can't go out in your backyard and not hear Corona bottles smashing in the middle of the road and everything, then that's wrong, because that's the wrong kind of culture for around here. But generally speaking,
whoa, hang on a second, Depp. But you say it's wrong. They say it's not. So here we go. Now we got a divide. They say this is how we live, and we're Americans, and we have a right to sing on our front porch and yell at the top of our lungs if we want to. And if you don't like it, too bad. I have a right to do that. Who are you, to criticize my culture?
No, you don't. No, you don't. That's why this is a land of laws, and we have ordinances against that. It's called disturbing the peace. And breaking bottles in the middle of the road, I guess that would be called littering or some other form that they put up there. You got to follow the laws to some extent.
Okay. All right. Well, I'm just saying, but who decides that then? Who decides what laws we are to follow? The city council that's mainly all white people, or how do we make these decisions where this is the Black Lives Matter movement? Is they're saying that they don't have a voice. They're saying that the black people are, we're being discriminated against, and these white police officers are out there every day killing white people. When in fact, really, if you look at the numbers, more white people are killed by police officers than any other ethnic group. But but then again, white people are a majority of the population. So therefore, how do we get to the bottom line of all this and get to the facts without the emotion into play?
Do you know in 2008 we had a black president, and at that time, as far as I could tell, everybody wanted him. But now if you ask, they'll tell you, he wasn't my president. I wonder why that is.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. No, I agree 100%. You're absolutely correct.
Go back in 2008 and 2009. Give me that Obama cash. Give me that Obama phone. Yeah. Where's that housing?
Yeah. It didn't come to be, did it? Where's the militias at too?
Come to be.
I know. Well, let's bring on my cohort, Mendelicon. I see him on the line. Let's bring him on. Bring him a voice of reason here. Let's see what he has to say. Go ahead,
well,
Mendelicon.
he's a good guy.
All power to the people, no power to the sheeple. And what a great time to be alive. From Maine to Florida, Washington State to California, from the UK University of Kentucky, from the Congo to the Bongo. Unprecedented. What a great time to be alive. Boy, oh boy. Don't believe your lying eyes if you don't see what I see. Don't be Helen Keller, Jose Feliciano, Ray Charles, and Stevie Wonder with your eyes wide shut and say, revolution, that's the deal. And 8 years ago, I put it out and I told everyone that when the revolution on the ground happens, it's going to be a worldwide thing, and it's not going to be all black and it's not going to be all men under the matriarch. Under the matriarch and Class Action 567, I told y'all. When it happens, it's going to be live in living color, and it's going to be something unprecedented that never happened before that we can prove. Black lives not only matter to us, as we call ourselves blacks, when we don't matter if you look at how we treat each other, but for the first time in the history of the planet, black lives matter to young white people because of hip-hop. Young white people. Not Rodney King, not Martin Luther King, not Malcolm or whatever. When those men were executed by state-sponsored terrorism, only blacks got upset. Only blacks. Martin Luther King, Rodney King, Malcolm X. Only blacks. When you look at what you see right now, a multitude of young people that say, tear it down, destroy, pluck it up, root it out, because of Black Lives Matter. How could that be that you guys, and where y'all come from, Black lives really didn't matter because you wouldn't have been in solidarity with what was created, which was the system was working. I'm not going to tell you that the system is not working because the system is working. It's the job of the system to put terrorism in your ass. It's the job of the system to lock you up, to force weapons on you. It's a job. The system is working. So let us not, nobody ever say the word, the system's not working, Mandela. Yes, it is. And this system that we call kill or be killed is working perfectly. Just as it was for the Genesis, fast forward to this revolutionary revelation where living one level.
I think more or less we have a generation gap between male and female. I don't think the woman out there knows her role, and the problem is there's too much deception out there. And the man doesn't know his role either.
Okay, well, I'll let that go because that's where you see your, that.
So what do you think? So you think women should be in charge of everything, right?
Mandela, no. I don't need you to vet me now because this is something that's unprecedented and it never happened. I got to get in on that. Look at London, Venezuela. Look at France. Look at many nations all over the planet. That's in solidarity with what's going on in this country. And see, under y'all's thing of the founding fathers, under this Constitution, I told you all that, and under your republic, you throw that in the trash. The only good thing about the good old days is dead and gone.
What do you recommend? What system of government should we have in America?
I repeat, this is not a protest. This is not a protest. So y'all get that out your repertoire that talking about this is a protest. Protests and those things, they last, 1 or 2 days, son? They don't get no momentum. They don't get no more people on their side. But here's where America's in checkmate, slam dunk touchdown. Can you imagine a vision, an unjust killing happening while everybody is trying to see are we going to get the justice from? Can you imagine a vision? Even that now has been put in checkmate, right? So y'all not just going to jump out under the guise of you looking for some drugs.
So burning down buildings, burning down small business owners' buildings, and attacking white people is just because Black Lives Matter, right, Mandela Khan?
There's no third party equivalent. I didn't say a goddamn thing of what you said, but I'm telling you, we as revolutionaries, we're supposed to burn all businesses as relates to monopoly, corruption, and greed.
Why? What did I do to you? Wait a second. You're going to burn down my business? Why? Why are you going to burn down my business? What did I do to you?
Listen. Black businesses should get the torch too. Don't get cute with me. Don't fuck cute with me.
I'm telling you.
Press the number one, folks, if you want to get in on the conversation. Anybody,
is monopoly, corruption, and greed. You can't get away from it. The rest of the world is peeping at what is really going on based on this jingoism
the bottom line
of
is
nationalism.
this. Hang on. The bottom line is this. Okay, the bottom line is this: is we live in a society today that is totally morally dumbed down and bankrupted. You cannot legislate morality. The fact of the matter is we have people out there burning and rioting over what? They don't care about this guy George that died from the hands of the police department. What they're doing is they're taking out their rage by their own frustration because they don't have any God in their life. They have no spirituality. They have no humbleness. They have no faith.
That's your selective amnesia because this is a compilation from, remember the days when y'all used to hang us by the rope? Now you do it in the mean streets of America, judge, jury, and executioner. This is a compilation
I never hung anybody by a rope.
that happened from the past
I don't know what you're talking about
up to now. This is a accumulation of things, and I know you ain't going to recognize it because to you, like most white people, they say, well, what the hell are them young white people doing with them? That's Antifa.
Oh, Mandela Khan, you're bringing race into the issue. I'm talking about more of a spiritual
all of a sudden, they out there, right? I'll tell you why, because of the red, black, and green. The revolution said destroy. I'm not trying to fix or get some bad white people out of office or put some good black people here. I'm here to destroy the social system just like everybody outside this goddamn country.
What do you mean? All right, hang on here. Put some good black people in. That's fine. I thought there are good black people in office right now. We put black, but you're talking about
there are no good black cops. There are no good black legislators, no good black cardinals, bishops, monsignors, senators, those ministers. Those pastors, those
so
bastards,
what do you want on?
None
so who do you
righteous,
consider good? Why should you be judge, jury, and executioner? Who do you consider good?
We have before proved that the Jews and Gentiles, they're all on the sin. Their mouth is an open sepulchre. Their feet are swift to shed blood. The way of peace,
finish your point.
There is not one righteous, not one. Your Praetorian Guard is taking a peaceful protest of a accumulation of things. And your Praetorian Guard is on a vicious attack, beating, maiming, and forcing.
Okay, all right, Mandela Khan, I'll bring you back on. All right, Mandela Khan, we got to have some order here. I got to bring on another voice here. 832, go ahead. And we got some other private callers, but I'm skeptical of those, as always. Go ahead, 832. Go ahead. You got the floor. I won't interrupt you. Go ahead.
Greetings to all of you. This is Brother Black Jesus Minister. Peace to you, brothers and sisters who are listening to the program.
We're here. We got you. Go ahead. You're live, brother. Go ahead.
Okay, you can hear me?
Yes, I can hear you fine. Go ahead. The floor is yours.
All right. First of all, praise God. Thank God that white men and white women who are our age and your age, Brother Joseph, and to the other brother, I believe that was Pastor, I can't remember his name. I think that's your pastor friend. I forgot his name. It's been a long time since I've been on your show. Thank God that our generation and your generation is almost out of here, okay?
You got that right. You got that right. You got that right.
Exactly. In the next 20 or 30 years, we will have found our way to our graves, and we will await the day of judgment. Now, I just heard your pastor friend sit up here and say that Mexicans are stinky and loud and dirty. This is your pastor friend, a pastor on your program.
No, Black Jesus. Hang on, Black Jesus. No, that was a caller from Meriden, Connecticut. That was not a pastor. He was not a pastor, but he was a caller that you have heard before on this show. So, okay.
Well, at no time did I hear you castigate him for that filth and that evil and that wickedness that was coming out of his mouth. It seems to me that you pretty much, affirmed what he was saying, and then continued to be miffed about what is this Black Lives Matter? What is this Black Lives Matter? Sir, how the hell is it that white people, or have you all been so damn comfortable and so dominant that the reality of other people does not even register on your brain, not even for a damn minute? And the reason why
I said all lives matter, brother. I said all lives matter.
Hold on for a second. Sir, excuse me, sir. The reason why I said thank God we're almost off the scene, because the entire world has reacted to this man's death. And this has been a culmination of an agency or a governmental agency that we call police departments across the country that all of us as taxpayers entrust to serve and protect. Now, if you got a gangster or a criminal or a fool or somebody's out there taking somebody's life, you know, that's one thing. But when we as taxpayers, and as a government that's supposed to be of the people and by the people, pay those who we entrust to protect and to serve everyone, but their entire history with certain segments of our society and especially black people has been one of abuse and has been one of ongoing murder and protecting the auspices of white supremacy to minimize the empowerment, the self-empowerment of black people throughout our history. This is the sin, and thank God that this young generation, all over the planet, white people are the majority all over the planet right now, who are protesting what's going on here and what happened to George Floyd. And they're not just protesting what happened to George Floyd, they're protesting the very abuses that take place in their own country. So they're not just over there. So you have all these people in a crescendo all over the planet crying out about the same thing happening in their countries. Then that lets us know this is a sign, this is a clear sign that this is not a joke and it's not fake. It is real. This is a reality. And yes, all races of people have been abused by the police, but there has been an extensive abuse for people of color and black people, and everyone has recognized that. The entire globe and the entire planet has recognized that, and this young generation of righteous white children in the name of God, and I ask God to bless every last one of them. I can't wait till we get off the scene, Joseph, because when we get off the scene, this world is truly going to be a better place because of these righteous young white people who are upset and up and on fire for what is right. The Bible teaches us to do justice and to do judgment, regardless of who it's done to and who it's done by. And this is the Spirit of God that's rising up in men and women, and especially this young generation, and I thank God for it. And I am sorry for brothers and sisters like you who refuse to let go of racism and that you don't want to acknowledge, but you spew it out of your mind and out of your mouth all the time, consciously and subconsciously. And Brother Joseph, you know, I see you as a Christian brother too, but I also see you as a white man, and older white men have a goddamn problem. You have a problem, sir. Okay? And that problem is an indoctrination of white supremacy and black inferiority. Ain't nobody's equal to the white man. That is in all white people's mind to some degree, one degree or another. But I thank God for this young generation that's rising up and really carrying out the creed of God and carrying out the creed of this nation, that all men are created equal. And so, again, when police officers, when doctors, when anybody that the government teaches...
Well, hang on a second here. If they're all created equal, then why is it okay to burn down businesses? Why is it okay to attack a small business owner that has worked all their lives? It's okay because I could put on an Antifa shirt and a mask and say Black Lives Matter and burn down that man's shop and burn it down in the name of justice for George? I mean, and I could carry out a flat screen TV on my back and run home with it and say, ha ha, you know, I mean, is that righteous? That's righteous in God's eyes? I don't think so. I mean, that has nothing to do with me as a white man or you as black or anyone else. I mean, that is common thievery. That is immorality. That is wrong. Shall not steal, right? I mean, don't you agree with that?
Brother Joseph, first of all, you know damn well that I did not sit up here and tell you that it was okay to do all those things that you just mentioned. And those of you who have been watching the news and who are not going to sit up here and be duped by my brother Joseph, we know and the police know. The police have said this all over the news ever since the uprising has been going on, that only 10 to 20%, only 10 or 20%, 2 out of 10, 1 out of 10 people are doing this illegal behavior, and the other 90% are peaceful protesters, sir. So nobody in their right mind and no one who is a Christian is going to sit up here and agree with looting and any other illegal activity that criminals are using the police forces being outnumbered because of having to deal with the protests, are taking it. You have criminals who are out there taking advantage of this situation, and there is a difference between.
Well, that's why the police are there, sir. That's why the police are there, to stop the criminals from taking advantage of the peaceful protesters. I mean, the peaceful protesters can walk up and I don't agree with shutting down my highway in Greensboro today. I don't agree with that. If I walked out in the center of Wendover Avenue in Greensboro and said, stop traffic, you know what, today my hair is not a good day and I want to protest that, whatever it may be, I would be arrested and hauled away. I don't care what the agenda is. You should not be able to stand in the middle of a highway and obstruct traveling people trying to go to and fro and obstruct their right to travel. I think that's wrong. And all those people that entered that highway should be arrested and charged for obstruction of my right to travel and everyone else's right to travel. You have no right to obstruct my rights. Don't you agree with that? That was my point in the beginning of the show.
I agree that this is government by the people and for the people. And if the majority of the people, sir, righteous white people, righteous black people, righteous people of all creeds and colors decide to go stop the damn freeway and the highway, which their tax dollars paid for, sir, and the whole damn planet, the whole God-blessed planet in the world are doing the same thing and are experiencing the same injustices, dear sir, then the world is crying out that, no, the government does not belong to Joseph. The government or the country doesn't belong to those of you who think like Joseph.
Actually, it does.
But that the
actually, in a republic, we do. In a republic, actually, in a republic, it does.
Sir, hold on. The country belongs to the people, and if the people want to shut down their freeways, their highways, to make a point, they have that right.
I disagree. I kind of disagree with you right there. They don't have that right under the Constitution of the United States of America. They don't have that right. And actually, the majority does not rule in a republic. The majority does not. The minority rules. So therefore, if the majority is of the people trying to shut down and take over someone's home or business or center or highway, they should be stopped. And that's why we have a law enforcement police department.
Let's get this established real quickly, sir. Do you not know that the police and all over the country have said that the majority of the protesters, 80 or 90%, are peaceful, and it's only 1%, only 10% that are doing the criminal activity? Do you agree with that or not, sir?
I have not seen that, but I'll take your word for it. How's that? I have not seen that. I have not looked into the numbers, but I'll agree with that.
That is the fact, sir. So I'm not going to join hands with you in trying to demean a righteous people and a righteous country who are standing up for a right cause. Let me ask you this question: what cause, what protest have you agreed to, sir, in your lifetime?
What protest? Oh, lots of protests in my lifetime.
Have you agreed to any protest?
I mean, you're throwing a loaded question at me. The women's rights movement. I mean, Martin Luther King. I mean, what are you throwing at me here? I agree with a lot of the protests out there.
Good.
You know.
So how about the Vietnam War? Were you against the Vietnam War?
Well, yes, I will. Yes, actually, 58,000 people in this country died for a false flag.
Okay, so my point is, sir, is that you have agreed to many other historical people uprisings that disrupted the orderly business of the day or the week or whatever.
I don't agree with burning down businesses, sir. I don't agree with that. That's what I'm trying to say.
Sir, I got that. But you keep pivoting about burning and looting. We're not talking about burning and looting. The last thing that you were talking about, that nobody has the right to block freeways and roads and this and that and that.
Well, that too.
Blah, 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 blah.
That too. They should not stand in the highway and block a freeway. No.
Sir. Parades.
You can stand on the side and hold up a sign. You can stand on the side and hold up a sign, brother. Come on now.
People have disrupted commerce and government since the beginning of American history, sir. And you just said out of your own mouth that you agree with many uprisings that disrupted the business of the United States and commerce of the United States. But now, all of a sudden...
No, I disagreed with the idea. I disagree with the idea, brother. Not how they went about it now. The idea of freedom. Remember, the idea of freedom is bulletproof. We can all agree on that. Freedom is true, but you know what? Stand on the side of the road. You know what? You don't have to block traffic. You don't have to burn down this guy's shop to demonstrate your point. You know?
Sir, you continue to add burning and looting. You and I are not talking about burning and looting. I don't approve of it, and you don't approve of it. And 90% or more of the protesters who are out there are peaceful, sir. And all I heard you say, Black Lives Matter. What the hell is that? All lives matter. But, sir, what you don't understand, what you do understand is that black lives in America have been the least esteemed in this country. We come from an imprisoned and an enslaved people in this country that your ancestors did. And the effects of that slavery, sir, and the effects of that slavery still linger and live with us to this day, sir. And the mentality.
That's where I got to disagree with you, brother. I got to kind of disagree with you. You know what? If I'm a black man today, or a black woman, and I walk into some place or a store or into a government agency and request benefits or help, you know what? I'm more reflected on and catered to than the white person. I've seen that firsthand now because we know we have a black fragility out there, right? Black fragility. You want to discuss that? We have white privilege out there. We can talk about all these serious names out there. But the fact of the matter is, if my name is Paco Rivera and I crossed over the border, I get everything for free. Meanwhile, the white guy out there that's working 48 hours a week, he's paying the taxes. He's got his, paying his mortgage, and the Mexican guy or the black or whatever gets everything handed to them. They get all the programs. They get all the benefits. And that is true.
Wow.
You can't deny that today. You can't deny that.
Wow, man. You have lost your senses, sir. Excuse me, man. I'm just
quoting what other people are saying. That's all.
The number one ethnic group when it comes to social services, and that includes food stamps, is white people, sir. Did you not know that, sir?
Well, they're the majority of the population, brother. Blacks only make up 13% of the population.
Sir,
come on.
Sir. But what is your excuse? You all were never enslaved for 400 years, sir.
Well, for 400 years, you're absolutely right. I was not, but 1,200 years ago, I was. 1,200 years ago, I was.
No, excuse me, sir.
Sure I was.
There should be no white people on food stamps or any type of social services because white people were never enslaved for 400 years in this country. Okay? You all enslaved us, deprived us of community, deprived us of family.
So white people are not the victim of hang on, brother. Hang on a second. So you're saying white people got everything they want in this country, and they're not victims of anything? They get everything handed to them, hand and foot? Is that what you're saying?
Sir, no. What I'm saying to you is that you're sitting up here trying to make a comparison to black people and white people when it comes to social services, and you were trying to the first thing you're trying to do was try to say we give blacks this, we give blacks that, and they take advantage of this and take advantage of that. Talking about social services, and then I reminded you that the number one users of social services are white people, which you agree
to. Based upon numbers.
Okay, right. So my point. So then my question I pose to you is then, what is white people's excuse? Why in the hell are white people receiving social services when white people were never enslaved for 400 years?
Well, slavery isn't the basis to collect food stamps. Slavery is not the basis to collect food stamps. We know that. Come on now.
Sir, when you say what? What did you just say?
I mean, slavery is not the basis to collect food stamps or collect government benefits. I could fall down and get hurt and lose my job, and I need to collect government benefits. But because I'm white, the black guy in the back of the room gets to go first, and I'm white, and I get to go in the back. That's what my point was. That's what I was trying to say. I mean, and that does happen in a lot of areas in this country. You know that. Come on now.
That's false, sir. That's not true. That is absolutely false, man. Please stop.
Okay. We have other callers here who want to join in. We got other callers that want to join in the conversation. I'll let them speak with you, and maybe they want, or maybe take your side. I don't know. But the one comment was made about the Mexicans. Maybe he wants to clarify that before I get to area code 909. I know 336 dropped. I don't know where you went. I was going to get to you. You got to be patient. Area code 203, you want to address the comment where you made, obviously he was offended by that, and you made a comment by Mexicans are loud, noisy, and they're dirty in your neighborhood.
Am I on?
Yes, you're on. Go ahead.
You got to put me on. Am I on now?
Go ahead.
Okay.
Yeah, you're on.
Well, I accidentally hung up as the Mexicans outside were revving up their motorcycles so goddamn loud I couldn't even hear the friggin' phone. That's the point I'm trying to make. He's absolutely correct on everything he says. And if I looked at it from my side of the street, I'd see exactly what he's saying. So you know what? The problem is that he's so angry and he's so full of hate that he won't come to the realization of what it's actually all about. You know, as well as I know, that come 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, the black young children in this neighborhood are running up and down the street in their underwear, stealing everything that they can get their hands on. That's a known fact. It's not my opinion, and that's the way it is. The Mexicans don't do that. They just smash their Corona bottles in the road, or rev up their motorcycles, or play the music so goddamn loud you can't even sleep. That's the point I'm trying to make.
All right. So
Those are
the
facts.
point you're trying
That's
to
not
make
my
is,
opinion.
Okay. Yeah, no, the facts that you're trying to make from your firsthand perception of what you see from living in that neighborhood that is predominantly black and Mexican, you're saying that these people, and you showed video on this show. You had video on the internet where blacks have come and stolen packages off your porch, whether they're black or white, doesn't matter, but they were black, so we have to point out the facts. So you're saying, and you're in that neighborhood, so you're saying that that's what's happening in your neighborhood. But why is that happening? Why? Can we fix this? How can we fix this?
I don't know how to fix it, but, you know, Mommy was home alone with these children, so that's why. I don't know what the father's doing. Maybe he's a pastor of some kind somewhere else doing something else, not taking care of his home life. I don't know. She did have the father there at one time, and the father really straightened them out. But the kids themselves, they were just wild, and Mommy couldn't handle it.
Well, there you go. There you go. I think that kind of caters to the same situation. That's not white. That's not black. That's everywhere because we have government policy that is discriminating against poor people. It doesn't matter if you're black or white. Black Jesus Minister, you want to make a comment now on what do you have to say before I get to the next caller? I want to make sure you're on here, and I don't want to because I'm going to give you the floor as long as possible. Go ahead.
Yes, I do. Sir, your generalizations for Mexicans and black people and anything else, I can fight fire with real fire, sir. Everywhere that the white man went and conquered, when he first got there, he was met with open arms and welcome, whether it was in Africa, whether it was in the Americas by the Native Americans, by the Aborigines in Australia. Everywhere the white man went, he was welcomed by the native people in their countries. And in return to being welcomed, you greedy-ass, wicked-ass, devil-ass white people, sir, in return, tried to figure out how to steal from them, how to enslave them, murder them, rape them.
And where's that information coming from?
Excuse me, I'm almost done.
My history says that they were attacked.
I'm almost done.
They were attacked by the
Indians.
Never interrupt your enemy when they're making a mistake.
I'm almost done. Take their resources. This is the character of white men and white women to this very day. And then after you have made yourself comfortable after all of the murder and rape and the thievery, especially over here in the Americas, you stolen the land from the Native Americans, tried to exterminate them, but this was a government agenda and then you distributed their land to your own people, denied black people the right to own land, and then you want to sit up here and brag about how righteous you are. You are a reprobate, and that is the spirit of white people, and
so
you
how do we
must
fix
ask
that,
God
Black
for
Jesus Minister? Okay, so Black Jesus Minister, with all that being said, let's agree. Let's agree. Okay, the white man did all this. So what do we do today? How do we fix it? What do we do?
Let him finish.
Repentance, and stop sitting up here being racist and stop being evil. Repentance is the key. Okay?
Okay, now listen. Listen, you're talking about people in Australia and white people somewhere and murdering.
He asked me a question.
I go out in my garden, I hand black people cucumbers. Go ahead in my garden, I hand black people walk by cucumbers and tomatoes. I'm not talking about people in Australia or somebody.
I need 30 seconds, sir. Repentance
I'm talking about
and
out my
restoration.
front door.
It's called reparations is the answer, sir.
We can't talk over each other. Come on. Black Jesus Minister, go ahead. Finish your point, because I got a bunch of other callers that want to get on here. Finish your point. Go ahead.
The answer is repentance and restoration, a.k.a. reparations for harm done to the peoples of the world. I don't care who they are. And justice is still being denied to the Native American Indians here in the United States. Thank you.
Okay. All right, so reparations. Okay, so reparations, and we need to repent, say we're sorry, and we need to give you everything for free because we're sorry for what happened 300 years ago. Okay, all right.
Justice isn't being denied. Justice isn't being taken by that side. That's all. And I'm not talking about Australia or some white person that I can't prove or some black person I can't prove. I'm talking about what's happening out my front door right now. I'm telling you the way it is. I'm telling you facts, not some holy story read out of a book somewhere.
Okay. All right.
I have given you the facts that our European white brothers and sisters have been the most wickedest people on the planet, sir, throughout human history,
sir. Okay, they're wicked. All right. The white people are wicked, and we need to repent, and then we need to give everything that we have back to the people of the world, and that would be mostly the black people because they've suffered the most over the last 400 years.
I know. I didn't speak everything up, sir. Nobody's going nowhere. Nobody's going to go nowhere. Nobody's going to. White people are not going to give the Native American Indians this country back.
No, but that's what you said we need to do. No, I know they're not going to, but you said we need to do it, right?
Sir, everything should be done in orderly and in a very coherent way, bro. Now, we can sit down and talk about it, but this stuff about giving everybody everything for free, man, stop, man. There has been restoration given to people who have been wrong in our history, right here in America. When the Japanese were interned in California during World War II, did not the United States government pay reparations to the Japanese people? Yes, we did.
Ronald Reagan, said, yeah, sure. I agree. You're absolutely correct. That did happen.
Okay, and so the point is that did that bankrupt everybody? Did we give them everything for free? No, but the government did what it was supposed to do, and they figured out how to get it done. The same way black people were denied 40 acres and a mule, if racist-ass white people who talk like you guys had not, and Andrew, I think
you were not denied. But you were not denied 40 acres and a mule, though.
No,
you were not.
I was denied. If my ancestors were denied 40 acres,
I got a question.
My ancestors, sir, hold on. My ancestors were denied 40 acres and a mule. I would be further along the road to where I am now if my ancestors had been given that 40 acres and a mule that they earned.
Okay. All right. You got a question, sir? I got to get to other callers, so ask the question, please.
I just got one quick question, and it's been good talking to you, BJ, Black Jesus Minister and everything. And I see where you're coming from, and I know you're not going to change, but that's okay. But my question is this. Trump put out, $3 trillion or whatever in that stimulus, and they want to do another $2 trillion. Well, with that $3 trillion and the 75 million that are on Social Security and 150 million that are working, do the math. It comes out to $22,000 per person. I want to know where my $20,800 is. That's your government at work. That's who BLM should be going after. Those crooks.
We need to go for all crooked stuff, all unrighteousness, all of us as Americans, black Americans, white Americans, should be dealing with the crookedness in our government. And as which president was that warned us about the industrial, the military industrial? Eisenhower warned us about the military industrial complex, and that is true. That is the most powerful group of people who are running this country and robbing us, man. They're robbing us clean, bro.
They are. They're right. Well, it goes back to the Federal Reserve, like I always say. But anyway, Black Jesus, I got some callers here. They want to interject. All right. 909, then 507. 909. Go ahead. Hopefully we don't get any crank calls tonight. That's pretty good so far. Go ahead, 909.
Yes. Hi. Good afternoon. Just going to give a woman's perspective. Not all women, but mine. And for the record, I am an American, but with Hispanic descent. And I don't play my radio loud or anything else. I consider myself a decent human being, and I do shower regularly. But
okay, that's good.
I just want to say that as far as the protesters go, the world sympathized with what happened to Mr. Floyd, and it was tragic, it was disgusting, and it happened. And it's not just black people that happens to, it's the media that likes to put that on air. So if anything, the country should be united behind, getting rid of bad cops, brutality, reform the system in some way so that stops happening to everybody, okay? It's sensationalized because it's with a black person that brutality happens to, and you rarely ever see anything, if you do, on the news when it happens to somebody else, whether it be Chinese or Portuguese or a European.
Well, that was my point. That was my point. I made an instance up where I was kidnapped and beaten down by Wallingford detectives in 1991, and I didn't get all over the news. Nobody marched for me. Why don't I get the same justice?
Not only that, but the young woman that was shot in her apartment, there wasn't a big uproar about that. It only happened after.
That's right.
We actually saw, a murder. It was just talked about with the woman, and that is just as bad. But nobody said anything. They were upset about it, but nothing happened as far as protests or anything else. So I think the murder of George Floyd, and that's what it was a murder. Let's not mistake that. I think that was the camel that broke the straw, the straw broke the camel's back. But I think it should be addressed as a whole, so, everybody, as far as the treatment and aggressiveness by cops that are just twisted in the head and pull power trips. They need to be behind bars, no doubt. But,
all right, well, he's behind bars. They're marching up and down the street. They're marching up and down the street. They're obstructing traffic. That's where we started this whole debate here. They're obstructing traffic. What do you think?
Joseph, I think since those men were arrested, now we have to let justice do their thing. If they don't, then I think we need to get back into the streets again, because it's an injustice if these men, even if the three get away with anything, because they were accomplices. They could have stopped it, but they didn't. Whether they were rookie or not is not an excuse, and that's what's kind of being thrown out there now, is that they were rookie on the job 4 days. Wrong is wrong, and right is right, and they didn't do anything.
But what do you think, ma'am? What do you think about Black Jesus Minister's point there that we should all repent and give back reparations to all the black communities for all the crimes that have been committed in the past? What do you think about that?
I don't have an opinion about that because, again, I'm third generation, and so as far as Hispanic, my last name, maiden name is Holguin, and, my family comes from Colombia, and they immigrated here, so I would have nothing to do with that, and so I have no opinion about that as far as having that taken out of my paycheck, any type of reparations for something that happened with other people. So, I don't know what to say about that. But I do think that the protesters need to stop unless they have some type of request or demand other than justice for George Floyd, because there were many other blacks and whites that were killed at the hands of police. So we need to, unless they have specific demands, what are they marching for? We get
exactly.
It. What happened was bad. And yes, there is a small percentage of people that are destroying businesses that people work very hard for. And I think that small percentage, if you're going to say that's just a 1%, well, there were only 17 blacks that were killed last year. That's a very small percentage. I mean,
there you go. Yeah.
It doesn't matter.
And that's a good argument you
life.
just made right there. That is a great point. You're absolutely correct. The minority then, how far do we go? How much of the minority gets a voice? What, this one black person that died, God rest his soul, that he was murdered. He was murdered, not died. He was murdered. You know, granted, we give him a loud voice, but what about the other 16, 17 that were murdered last month also? For whatever color or race. Why can't we get to that common denomination, Black Jesus Minister, where we say all people, that was my point, all people should have, I mean, why can't we march in the street and be just as angry for the white guy that gets beat down or the white woman that gets raped or whatnot? Why can't we stop that in society? Why can't we fix this? Why? Black Jesus.
I think the people that are kneeling.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
I think the people who are kneeling before black people and asking for forgiveness, why would you do that unless you are a racist? You're asking for forgiveness for being racist is what you're doing by kneeling. Nobody should kneel before anybody if we're all supposed to be equal. Now, I think
that's right.
Personally, the solidarity is awesome, that people are coming together to show the government, hey, this is bullshit.
Well, the militias sure ain't doing it. Where are the militias at? They're not doing anything, that's for sure.
Right.
909, go ahead.
One more thing, one last thing. As I think that the protesters, being that they have the numbers, and they do not agree with what's going on with these 1%ers that are destroying everything, I think that they should stand up in solidarity in front of these businesses, arm in arm, to stop these stop the rioters from destroying property. And if they have to stand there arm in arm until the cops get there to fix it, and then they can back off, great. Because that shows that that's what they want is justice for everyone. And they're going to still maintain their solidarity because it's right to do what they're doing because it was cold-blooded murder. But at the same time, they need to stand up for these businesses as well. That's all.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. Well, yeah, I agree with you 100%. 507 wants to get in here. Area code 507. Go ahead.
Hi, guys.
From Minnesota. Omar State. Omar country. Go ahead.
So I am white as white can be. I'm been white my whole life, and I'm telling you, I understand a little bit about white privileges, I guess, to a certain point. But I'm poor white trash, so I only seen a little bit of it. But I'm not. I didn't do any of that to anybody. But I'm not your enemy. Neither are you. You're not my enemy. We need to stand together. These rioters, what they need to be doing is they need to be going arresting the people in the government positions. Congress needs to be arrested. Those are the people that are harming us. They're harming us every day. We have no government, people. We have a corporation, and a corporation does not give a fuck about us.
Yes, ma'am.
And we need to stand together hand in hand and say, you motherfuckers, we're arresting you. You need to fucking be on trial for your harm that you have done to us. And it's all written down. All the harm they've done to us, it's on paper. All we got to do is stand together. Put our differences aside. I don't care what color you are. I don't care what gender you are. I don't care who you love. You are a human being, and that's all that matters. You breathe. You eat. You just like
okay, that's great. That's great. That feels good. That message. But how do we bring it about? What do we burn down my next door neighbor's small business, his gas station? Is that was how the whole debate started?
We keep
go ahead.
talking about it. We keep talking.
Yeah, you know what? The last two females, they're absolutely correct. And what I think is the BLM people, they got absolutely the right idea, but they've been bought out by one of the parties, and they're following their agenda. If the black people would realize that they are people and go what they really want, not what they've been paid to or been forced into wanting, we would all live much better.
Black Jesus Minister, you want to comment on that? Black Jesus Minister, you want to comment? I know you've been silent, man. I respect that, but maybe I know you got a lot to say. Go ahead.
Basically, I agree with the sister who's speaking that there's a lot of wickedness going on in the government, and we've got to hold our elected officials accountable. We live in a corporation, and this corporation must be undone. This corporation exercised and flexed its power and its authority, and now by executing 9/11 and controlled all media to deceive the world and the American people that this was not an inside job. Okay, this is serious. When that went down, that lets us know that we are really in a war. Okay, now, but in the meantime, that does not excuse, just because we have a bigger war when it involves all of us, justice should never be denied, even on the smallest scale. And the history of police brutality and murder, the so-called justice system, imprisoning black people with slave codes, targeting the black community with the so-called war on drugs and destroying our families and our communities, separating fathers from their children behind drugs that we're now legalizing, okay? And then denying black people the right to vote, and those who've had criminal records to not take part in the new marijuana industry because they have a record.
True.
All of these wickedness has been a history of wickedness of denying black people every right to participate in this country fully as an American citizen, and that is a reality.
Okay.
And that's what we must understand.
You are right. You're right in many ways. But I want you to know that the whites are just, we've got it too. Maybe not as harsh as you had it. Maybe not the numbers aren't there. But I've been to prison, so I can't partake in that marijuana thing. The thing is, they don't care. Congress does not give a fuck what color we are. They've done this to us too, so that we keep fucking fighting each other, because that keeps us divided. And we need to realize that it's Congress is our enemy, not us, not you. We are. I understand that black man's had a
717. I see 717 there. Go ahead, Sarah. I didn't mean to interrupt you. I just want to let her know that, or that individual know. I see them. They're next.
I want you to have that, okay? But I got to say that it doesn't do us any good. I can't change. I didn't have nothing to do with your wrongs, and I think all police should go. What the fuck are the police good for? What are they good for? They're not good for anything. What do they do for you? They do nothing for us. They don't protect us.
Nothing.
They protect Congress. They protect the people that are trying to kill us.
The powerful. Yes, ma'am. The powerful. That's correct.
Yep.
Government is the problem.
Together and get rid of them, dissolve them, arrest them.
Well, we need to, but we dissolve them, and then what do we start anew from? And that's where we combated that with the militias there, who are supposed to rise up and take over our republic and restart our constitution again. And they never came about. Where are the militias? Nowhere.
The economy still goes on. The economy does not die because we arrest these people. Everybody goes to work. We all figure it out. Each state, each county come together. We figure it out. We start working together. And then we go from there. Who gives a fuck till then?
But that's easier said than done, because we all have we have a religious different beliefs. We live differently, man and women differences. We got a lot of differences in the world today that's, it's good. It sounds good, the words you're saying, but it never comes to fruition. But hang on real quick.
Oh, I was just going to say that not only that, but right now when we have police, look at what the 1% is doing right now, that small group, that handful of people, how much destruction that they're doing. And if we don't...
there you go. Yeah. Where are the 3%ers out there? Yeah, boy, they got 1% and they're freaking beating us down, but, where's the 3%ers? All right, 717. 717. Go ahead, 717. Go ahead. Everyone's still live. Go ahead.
Yes. I definitely want to say I agree with both of you in everything that you're saying. It's been done to white people. It's been done to black people. They need to be held accountable. And, yes, we do need to stand up, and we need to stop being divided, for one. Also, with the system, the police help these people steal your children.
Absolutely.
That's correct. So, but you see, Black Jesus Minister, though, said, no, the black people, hang on. Black Jesus Minister said, no, the black people have suffered more, but, we can't concentrate on what happened 200 years ago. Of course, we know the black people suffered more 200 years ago. But today, are we going to address the fact of what's happening today and stop looking back at yesterday and saying, hey, you owe me for yesterday, instead of let's work for the promise for tomorrow and work for a better tomorrow together? Because today we are all screwed up and we're all in the same boat together, that's for sure. Black, white, everybody, right? We can all agree on that. That's what I hear. The government's all screwed up. So what do we do to fix it? How do we fix it?
Yeah, take that anger and turn it around and know that it's Congress that's doing it to us. Congress. Our Congress it runs the world, the whole world.
I believe it does with the bartering system.
I agree. Slavery needs to be.
Yeah, the Federal Reserve's got to go. But
the office that murdered these people need to be held accountable. And if I kind of think if the government's not going to do anything about it and try to protect them, we should.
Get rid of them all.
Black Jesus Minister, I'm going to bring on your buddy here. I know he's probably going to attack you. I don't know how. Hopefully he doesn't. I'll mute him quick. Mandela Khan wants to come back on. Let's bring him back on and see what he has to say, because he's got a lot. He's been messaging me here. He's got a lot to say. Go ahead, Mandela Khan.
I'm going to just move on 11 million people to turn into 100 million because I say so. On the People's Revolution that's taking place right now because of state-sponsored terrorism and Uncle Sam attempting to slaughter not only half the people in this country, but half the people on the planet, which we are now checkmating, because for the first time in the history of the planet, all the nations are on point with Black Lives Matter and foremost. So everyone's going to have a change of heart and choose a new way of life because of those credentials, whether you like it or not. And for those who want to say that we don't mind if they got some peace, that's because of your class comfortable corruption of peace that you want to maintain, but it's over. And this is going to be destroyed with or without your ass because I say so. Not only because I say so, because the people's eyes are wide open. They see state-sponsored terrorism and Uncle Scam is the enemy of all life on the planet.
Yeah, but what has come of this, Mandela Khan, our Black Jesus Minister? All these riots and protests, everything that has happened, what's changed? What has changed? What?
Okay, now here's what's changed. Here's what's changed. Don't ask somebody no question and cut me off when I'm kicking your ass on behalf of the traditional sins of the fathers. Look outside this country. Don't believe your lying eyes. And all of you keep talking about the militia, the Ku Klux Klan got guns, the white rights groups got guns, the Black Panthers got guns, the Crips and Bloods got guns. But here's the problem. Y'all missing in action as it relates to state-sponsored terrorism. Y'all are not no revolutionaries. Y'all reactionaries. All of you militia, from the Michigan militia, the Minnesota militia, the North Carolina militia, the Virginia militia, y'all been having your head in your ass ever since this shit broke out. And y'all been marching on Capitol each and every week, and no one got arrested. And this young group is here to arrest.
But guess what? The militia didn't burn down no buildings either.
You can't talk about. Here's what I'm telling you. There ain't no statute of limitations on what you and your founding fathers did, right? Ain't no statute of limitations on the death and murder that you caused, right? This is why everybody's coming together. Because we learned it from you. We learned how to burn,
what's the bottom line, though?
We learned it from you.
Table?
Okay? We learned it from you. That's where we got it from. So now,
but what's on the table here? What's on the table, Mandela Khan? You see, you don't be quiet long enough. What's on the table? What are you offering? What, chaos in the streets? What are you offering? Another Africa? What are you offering?
Right now, I'm offering a scathing critique at all that shit you've been saying for 8 years and all this new militia Second Amendment right. Let's use it for what it's intended. And y'all know y'all are frauds. You're stunting and fronting for photo ops and a motherfucking march. This is not a march. This is not a protest.
This is not a march. This is not a protest. This is assembling the people's referendum. The people's referendum is what this is.
Black Jesus
the people's referendum is what this is, whether you like it or not. Y'all can call it a riot. You can call it they stealing and they doing the such. But this is a people's referendum, and it's only going to gain momentum as the temperature get 80, 90, 100 degrees.
All right, you made your point, but you didn't. All right, Mendelcon, go ahead, Sarah.
Is that what we're looking at? Coming together and arresting these people, right? Is that what we're doing?
Absolutely.
That's what I'm getting at. What's the bottom line? What's the bottom line? What's the end game?
That is the bottom line. But where's the people's military? The militia is missing. Where's the new Black Panthers? They're missing. Where's the Nation of Islam? They're missing. Where's the Deacons of Defense? They're missing. Where's all these Huey Newton gun clubs? They're missing in action. Where the fuck is these armed rights citizens for the Second Amendment? Why aren't you out there in between the police and the National Guard? Why?
Build it. They will come.
Well, hang on here. Hang on here. Where is the militia? Where is the people's military? Where is the people's military? That's a good question. But I don't know.
They're missing in action. They're watching this shit from the sidelines critiquing. That's what the fuck they doing. They watching it from the sidelines critiquing because they upset because young white people was with the blacks, and then the young whites they mad because blacks. The young blacks, the old blacks is mad because young whites was with the young.
All right, hang on, Mendelcon. Let's ask the Black Jesus Minister. It started out with the Black Lives Matter movement. We were talking about that, and where are the people's military? And that's great. You know what? I bet if the militia would have came and marched side by side with the Black Lives Matter movement, I bet we may have had something very, very unifying in this country that this government would have been afraid of. You know what I mean?
I agree.
Black Jesus Minister, I want to throw that over to you.
I agree. I agree with that sentiment wholeheartedly. If militias joined arms with Black Lives Matters and any other organization who recognizes that there is wickedness afoot in our country at every level of government, that would be a powerful statement. But what has changed in reference to your question, what has changed? What has changed is now a brand new, never seen before, worldwide planetary solidarity of all the nation's people, the majority of their people, in unison protesting wickedness in their government, and they're not going to stand for the status quo, but they will begin to demand change. We're in the very beginning stage of the protest, but I believe with all my heart, and I intend to be a part of it as well, that we are going to bring about legislative changes in our governments to do away with government abuse on every level. And it starts, and it's sad that it took a death to do this, but I believe that the fuel of this fire is going to empower us to really deal and change laws legislatively, and if necessary, to empower us, the common people, to run for political powers and offices, to put ourselves there who have the true interests of the people in heart and in mind to create these laws, because the ones that we have in government now, the leaders that we have in government now, they're in the hand pockets of the corporations and international corporations. They're in their pockets, brothers and sisters. And now the reason why Black Lives Must Matter and why that is an excellent movement title so is because Black lives all over the planet and all over the world are the least valued people on the planet. And the Bible teaches us, that when we esteem the least among us, the least who are in the church, then we uplift everybody. Okay?
So you're saying, Black Jesus Minister, so you're saying this is what my point was, if the Black Lives Matter movement and all the protesters out there joined together with what Mendelcon was talking about earlier when we used to do shows where we had the militias marching up in the capital of Virginia, if they would have joined together and came as one, and maybe this government maybe something really big could happen in this country where it's not going to happen. You just can't get people together. And why? I just don't understand it. I don't get it.
Oh, not only that, but a lot of these reforms need to be done by federal level. There's some things that can be done at the federal level, but most of it has to be done within each state. They are in control of their police department, and they are the ones that need to determine what they want their police departments to look like and how they want to be treated by the police and what's their purpose. They need to define their purpose, and anything outside that would be considered misconduct, or if they decide it's against the law, if they write a law within their state, because each state is sovereign, and it begins at the local level. And a lot of people are missing this point. I've heard several BTR shows where they're talking about, we got to vote this president out. We got to vote all the corruption out of the government. It's like, well, that's great. Good. I agree. I'm with you. But if you want to fix something within your police departments or anything else, that has to be done within your state.
Well, that's very true, and I wanted to say something here. I believe the government in D.C. was very concerned about what was going on Saturday especially Saturday. That's why they built the fence. That's why every traffic cam in D.C. went down Saturday so you couldn't see what was going on. That's why 1,600 military people were brought in, because they are concerned. Of course, these are politicians, and they wouldn't say shit if they had a mouthful. But I think we're on the right track here, that government is the problem.
Absolutely. It needs to be dissolved. It needs to be dissolved now. Definitely.
We've got to come together and get money out of government. All this is what's corrupting our government. When it takes millions and billions of dollars to run for political office, that continues to keep our government in the pocket of corporations. We must we must do away with all financially backed elections. Money. All these elections should be free, and it should be government sponsored. You have your candidates. They go sign up. I'm going to run for this. I'm running for this. I'm running for that. And then the government, the state government and federal government, sponsors the debates and so forth.
Black Jesus Minister, hang on. Black Jesus, hang on. Let me interrupt you. Let me interrupt you. I've got someone from the militia movement that wants to call in here and maybe come on the line here. And the main question here tonight is that we see the movement, we see the riots going on, and we see all the people across America here uniting under this murder that had happened. And we had the militias, organizing all throughout the year with the gun rallies and everything. But why can't these groups come together and unite as one? And that's the main focal point here tonight on tonight's show. We got a lot of people.
Well, number one, there's too many militia groups who are racist. Not all of them, but too many of them are racist. That's why, that is the hindrance right there.
All right, let's bring him on. 812, go ahead. 812, go ahead.
How's everybody doing tonight?
All right.
Good, Chad.
Good.
All right, thank you.
So, okay, now I'm coming in on the tail end of a lot of this. So, what we're basically talking about is unity within the militia and the Black Lives Matter movement.
We're talking about unity with
That's
everybody.
Correct.
The possibility of that.
Yeah, well, basically that.
Okay, now I will tell you flat out, I 100% support what the Black Lives Matter movement is about. I absolutely do. As a commander of a state militia, our focal point is bringing harmony and unity between both races. But here's the thing: we're never going to get past with race if I identify you as a black man and you identify me as a white man. Yep. That's the problem, okay? I don't see you as a black man. I see you as a man. I see you as a man that bleeds the same as I do. I see you as a woman.
But why not disagree, though? Why not disagree? Why not believe the same way? Why can't we unite together? Why not, disagree? Why not agree to disagree, but for the common cause of what? Freedom. That's what we're all longing for. It's freedom, not oppression or tyranny.
You're saying that it doesn't matter what you look like. that we are united behind. We can be united behind an issue, even though we don't agree on anything else.
You know, and the thing is, and I won't discredit, or I won't speak out and say there's not racism out there. There's a lot of it out there. The gentleman was talking about the militias. You know, a lot of them have, racial intent, which they do. We see a lot of those movements out there that have a lot of white supremacists, neo-Nazi types in there, and that's the type of group that my group is definitely not. We do not condone that. We do not tolerate that. But at the same time, you have to stop and think. You're never not going to have those groups. That's the unfortunate part of our history, our society, is there's always going to be those, and on both sides. You have racist people on both sides, and that's an unfortunate thing. And you have a lot of people on both sides that want to see divide. The hardest part is our youth is so caught up into this, that they've only been taught one way. They only know one way. And, I can honestly say for an African-American male under the age of 25, all he's known is racial inequality, especially if he's lived in the projects or something like that in one of your larger inner city groups. And I don't think it has anything to do with Republican or Democrat leadership per se. I think all of them are responsible for it.
So what's the bottom line here? How can look, every day is a revolution. We see these new movements popping up, and we see this thing happening right now, and we just had this big flu con go across our board. What's going on here? What is the militia doing out there? Or we see what the Black Lives Matter movement's doing. For goodness sake, they're shutting down cities all over America. They shut down Greensboro today. So what's the militia doing?
The ICM was actually called to duty last Saturday night. We stood guard outside of a mall and a gun shop because the threats from Antifa and other groups, including Black Lives Matter, were going on, making threats of robbing and looting, a gun store.
Now, wait
a
second. You said Black Lives Matter. You said Black Lives Matter group were making those threats. Now, how did you verify that?
We actually had a website, a page, where they were posting that stuff. There were several individuals that were posting that stuff. The state police got the tip. We were called, and unfortunately, we seen a lot of individuals that were watching us. They were waiting for us to leave. They were trying together, but there was too many of us. Then they didn't go through with it, which is a good thing. But we did see the amount of people that would have, but because there was too many armed, both black and white individuals with the militia at that location, we were able to prevent that from happening. So the Indiana militia was out in force protecting property, protecting businesses. Unfortunately, downtown inner city Indianapolis, the National Guard and the police force kind of come in there and created a clusterfuck. I disagree with the way a lot of the police force is doing things. You can't meet peaceful protests with violence. Law enforcement has to learn that rubber bullets and tear gas just inflame the situation. Our law enforcement has been taught and indoctrinated that, you create peace by force. That's not the case. Now I think
Dr. Martin Luther King taught us that during the Civil Rights Movement, and that's why I said I supported that movement back, where Black Jesus minister and I were debating there or having a discussion about, what movements are right and what's wrong. And what I'm trying to say is the movement today is on fire. And are we in a situation here in America now where we can take back our country and restore what? What are we going to restore? What is the militia's objective here? Black Jesus Minister says everyone needs to repent and we need to repair and give back what was taken from the black people of America and around the world. We need to give back what was taken from them. That's where he and I think that's what he was trying to say.
Okay, so we talk about that. We talk about reparations, right? Is that what you're talking about?
Yes.
Yes,
okay.
I mentioned reparations, but I didn't say just give people everything back. And, that's not happening. For example, nobody's going to leave America and give. Nobody's going to leave the United States of America and go back to Africa and go back to Europe and give the land back to the Native Americans. Now, the Native Americans are still suffering from the thievery of this land from these people. Native Americans should not be poor. Native Americans should have everything they need and should be living on easy street in this country and on their land that the government forced them to have after they took the whole country from them. We have enough money in this country to sit up here and take care of the whole goddamn world. We send billions upon billions upon billions of dollars to other foreign nations for military aid and all kinds of other type of aid. What for the purpose of what? To continue to purpose the furtherance and to enrich corporate America and their military agenda. Not on behalf of the American people, not as the goodwill on behalf of the American people, but American corporations, how they can to allow them to go in there and to give them a foothold in these other countries, to siphon these people financially and their minerals and their resources and things of that nature, and they're doing this in our name. They're doing this in the name of us. So the mere fact that we got money to billions of dollars to give away, why not sit up here and stop giving our money all over the damn world and deal with our people here? There should not be not one poor American here in the United States. There should be no poverty here in America. And there should not be not one veteran. Not one veteran. My father served in Vietnam War. All right? So it kills me to know and to see many veterans who are suffering and who are homeless. That is a goddamn shame before God. Every veteran that served should have a house, a home, and be secure for the rest of their life, putting their lives on the line for the American people. Okay? And so the thing is that we got billions upon trillions of dollars that we give away every year, and if we focus on doing what is right here at home in America, then that will solve our problems. But because of the corporate greed and corporate interest and these corporate cabals are usually foreign entities and foreign powers, okay, including the World Bank, the Federal Reserve, all those guys, these are foreigners. And they're using us, and we're allowing them to use us and causing all this deception and not allowing us to repair ourselves as a nation, as a people.
We build those corporations. Every time we buy something, we build those corporations.
And that's the problem. That is the problem, okay? We've outsourced America to the world. I've been part of the U.S. military, and unfortunately, I've been part of the American police force. I was young, I was naive, I didn't know the difference between duty and honor. The one thing I agree about the corporate America, it is a greed factory. I 100% agree with that. I agree with you on the Native American stance, okay? But what's done is done. We all have to live in this country. We've built what we've built. It's one of those things where, yes, we have a dirty past. We have a dirty, dirty past. But every country has a dirty past. Not a single solitary country or region is clean. If you really want to get technical, you can look at all the African tribes that slaughtered each other. You can look at all the Native American tribes that slaughtered each other for land. The Spaniards that slaughtered, civilization.
Well, you can
for
go back to
land.
the Indians, the Pawnees, against the Cherokees, we can analyze all that to the end, and you know what? We'll be 98 years old, ready to die, and the next generation will be taking over what we're trying to figure out what we were talking about. How do we fix what we got going on today? How can we unite today and come to one common agreement and start with that? Because Adolf Hitler started with 9 people in a bar, and you see what he did. So, how do we start?
I think we need to start with the leaders of these groups, the leaders of the militias, the leaders of Black Lives Matter, and these groups need to get together. Whether they're racist or not, we can all get behind at least one issue together. But if we have to,
what is that one issue then? What is the one issue that I always
is government. Is in our local right now. Well, we have the moment. We need to seize the moment, and that is to deal with the police departments in each state. And then we can move on from there because we'll gain power.
Here's the thing, okay? Here's the thing. And you look at Minneapolis, okay? Now their council's talking about abolishing the police force there. Big fucking mistake.
Yeah, I don't agree with that.
I agree. That's goofy. That's goofy as hell.
Okay?
What's the agenda behind it?
We need police force. We need police reform. I 100% agree with that. We need to retrain officers in the way they think. They're sent out of the law enforcement academy with this, attitude of you're out there to enforce the law. You're out there to, just go out there and collect revenue for your city. You're out there to uphold the Constitution, but in reality, what they really are is tax collectors, okay? They make it hard, and I'll agree that, law enforcement really does crack down way too hard on the African-American community because of demographics, because of history. It's what the larger inner cities have been taught, is that from time the African-American community is unruly, they're dingy, they're the lowest of the low.
We heard that earlier. We heard the Mexicans being called dirty, and they're trash, and they're loud. And the guy said, this is a fact, because I'm sitting out here watching them right now.
He's stating that that's an attitude with the police department in the inner cities. That's all he's stating, if I'm correct. You can correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah, and...
No, I was talking about the caller that was in the beginning of the show here that said he was in his neighborhood. He lives in a neighborhood that is basically predominantly black and Mexican, and there are very few white people, but the neighborhood is filled with loud music, disrespectful people, and you've got to lock your doors at night. And then that's how this whole conversation sparked off, and now we're to the militias and the Black Lives Matter movement. Obviously, these people are out there making a change.
ICM, and I'll tell you, I'm the commander of the Indiana Continental Militia, and we're a very unified group. We accept people from all walks of life, no matter what the content, or the color of your skin is, by who you call God. That doesn't matter to us because we're all human beings in this world, and we all want the same thing. We want peace and equality. And, I can honestly say that if the BLM would work with us, would talk to us, okay, if they would talk to us without getting help from Antifa, because I will tell you Antifa is there to cause mayhem. They do not have peace in mind. To me, they really are a terrorist organization.
Well, Chad, once they accomplish their mayhem, then what happens then? That's the whole point that I'm trying to get at. We accomplish the goals that we set out to do. You go out, you start a fight with a guy, and you beat him up, and you beat him up, and you finally beat him up. What then?
Who's funding
nothing left.
Who's funding Antifa?
There's no end. There is no end to the anarchy they want to cause, okay? What they want is an ungoverned society. Okay? That is what they want. They do not want anybody telling them.
They got quite a following, Chad. They got quite a following. They don't want any rules. And a lot of people may agree here who are even Black Lives Matters or militia. They say, hey, I don't want these rules. You know what I mean?
Hey. And you know what they are? Those people are fools. Those people are idiots. And most of your Antifa are misguided youth that have been taught by the college professors and the high school teachers that were from the liberal movement of the 1960s. And even then,
around the world.
they were, you know.
Well, there's a lot of kids out there that want to put the mask on and cause harm. You know what? I say taking a bat and smacking somebody upside the head so he bleeds. I think that, you know what? I frown upon that, and I grimace upon that because I don't want to see my fellow man bleed, you know, because I don't want to see someone hurt, you know?
Many of these people
and that's a sickness.
wearing suits.
Okay, you know, we talk about these riots and stuff, okay? If they were really concerned about justice in the black community, they wouldn't be killing their own and burning their own communities down and their own brothers and sisters' businesses down.
Well, that's not true.
Okay.
That's not true because rage could be taken out. Look, you know what? If I'm angry and I get mad, what do? I punch the wall in my house. You know,
I'm going to completely disagree with you on that. Okay, because here, if you want people to hear you, okay, and you want people to see, you know, what you're trying to get out, burning down, looting, and killing your own kind, it's not the way to show the world that blacks are oppressed, especially when you are hurting black people. Okay? It's not.
Can I say something on that real quick?
Yeah, Black Keys.
I would like to say something on that.
Yeah, Black Keys, Minister,
Right.
I want you to talk because I got to get the closing thoughts of the show. So go ahead, Black Keys. You go first. Go ahead.
I'm really upset that people continue to identify the peaceful protesters with that 10% who are doing these crimes and who are torching and looting and all that. With, again, the police and the national and international news says that this is only 10%. The other 90% are peaceful. Let's stop sitting up here and falsely identifying the majority of the people who are protesting.
Yeah.
So
here's the thing. I didn't say a percentage, okay?
I'm almost done.
No.
Hang on, Chad. Hang on, brother. Hang on. Chad, hang on. Let him finish, please. Then you go next, okay?
So again, that 10% who's doing the crime, the 10% of any community and the 10% of any nation of people or race of people are going to be criminals. You got criminals in every race, in every community, a small percentage. Okay? So since you have these criminals who are taking advantage of the situation, that is not a reflection of the peaceful people and the 90% of black people who are peaceful and who are not participating in that looting and burning. Okay? Let's not do that.
And I keep saying the small group of people, I've said it more than once during the conversation prior to you speaking, and that small group of people, of youth, blacks and whites and Asians and whoever else is in that group, looting and rioting, have nothing to do with the group of people, a mixture of people that are peacefully protesting. So that's for the establishment. So we should refer to them as rioters when we're talking about that small group, and the protesters who are peacefully protesting, so we can distinguish what groups we're talking about in this conversation so it doesn't get confused.
We're talking about...
Exactly. I agree with that because you actually got, the people that are peacefully protesting and these people that are looting and causing chaos and violence. I've seen so many of the people that are peacefully protesting taking those people and handing them over to the cops.
And beating them up, and even beating them up.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
So,
and that's the thing. The militia, the other night, they were standing side by side with each other, other groups, and there were African American men and women in those groups. There were a few Asian descent people. There were, Hispanics that we had amongst them. Some of them weren't even part of the militia. They were just citizens that stepped up and were concerned about, their fellow citizens and their businesses. And we worked side by side with the Indiana State Police and the local PDs to protect the mall, to protect the gun shops that were in that area. And I will tell you now that we had several BLM members that were rolling around with Back the Blue flags and stuff on them, disguising themselves as, part of our movement. But you could definitely tell they were part of
Could
our
they be
movement.
paid provocateurs, though? Could they be provocateurs? See, you always got bad apples in the bunch that ruin the majority of what you said.
I'm going to tell you, no, not them. They were looking to do something because there was too many of us, and we were heavily armed. They didn't. When they knew that we weren't leaving, in front of just the gun shop alone, there was about 50 of us. And we were set up, ready to go, and there was a lot of us like me. I was carrying non-lethal gear. Okay,
listen. Let me jump in here quickly because y'all took away what I said about the new Black Panthers, the Huey Newton Gun Club, the Operation I Give a Damn, the Indiana militia, the Minnesota militia, the Michigan militia. Y'all missing in action. And this guy just come on in and said that he came out on the side of protected property. But see, the state-sponsored terrorists out of the legislature, they unleashed the Blue Cross Klan on the people in this country, as well as they unleashed the Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines on people of color all over the world under the guise of some democracy. So y'all not talking about what the people in the streets are talking about. The militia is out of order because they are not, I repeat, they are not into the streets with the majority of people who want to confront Uncle Sam. Just like the new Black Panthers, Uncle Sam is not stopping them, and Mesa Islam, the Huey Newton Gun Club, y'all are not in solidarity. So when the militia marches in my city, they didn't notify the new Black Panthers. They didn't notify me. They did it on their own, just like they do every time they want to march on a Capitol. They do it on their own, right? But they don't arrest nobody. So unless they arrest the government, they out of fucking control. They out of control unless they arrest the government.
Did the new Black Panthers, did they say, hey, we want to work with you guys to protect the community? No. Okay? Who are you to say they need to go?
I'm telling you that your militia is a motherfucking fraud because you're not there to serve and protect the people.
We had a good conversation there.
You're a fucking idiot with your rainbow fucking revolution. So you can shut your
It's happening right in your face, you bitch. It's happening right in your goddamn face. And the young people
are taking control of the country. We're not going to ruin the show over there. Stop.
You can come over, and I will fuck you up.
All right. We don't need to ruin the show on a note like that. We don't need to do that because we had a very good dialogue here, and you see what has happened. And that's the problem, what we get out there with the movement.
Group of fraud when you got some fictitious revolution going on.
No, you're right. He should not have done that. Calling names is not the right way to have a dialogue. You did not call him any names at all. He came on and wanted to, there's a right way to go about things and have a simple conversation. Black Jesus Minister hasn't called one person any names tonight. It was very simple. We're having a dialogue here, and that's what we need to do, okay? And that's what's important.
I don't have a problem with dialogue, okay? And what the Indiana Continental Militia did, okay, we stood side by side with everybody in solidarity to protect people's businesses and protect people, okay? It wouldn't matter. It wouldn't matter who they were.
Yeah. No, that's great. And we need more groups like that. We need more groups like that across the country.
Okay.
And we need to spread that message that the Indiana,
And I'm extending an invitation to Black Lives Matter and the new Black Panthers, okay? Let's all talk because we all want the same thing. I don't like racial inequality. That's not who we are. I disagree with the way the black man and woman have been treated throughout history, and especially now. I hate the demographic racism, the systematic racism that they do face. I disagree with it 100%, and I think every law enforcement department needs to be re-educated and retrained on how to treat people and how to be peace officers again and not tax collectors.
There you go. Black Jesus Minister, what do you think about the last word that any militia there just gave and trying to extend an open hand to all people? I mean, if all groups can act like this and speak like this and back up what they're saying, which I'm sure he can. What do you think? I'll give you the final thoughts here to the show.
I support what the gentleman just said. Unity is the damn key, brothers and sisters. Unity is the damn key. We got to stop being played by the rich and by the powerful. They are playing us and playing us against each other. Justice should be done on every level of human society and existence and government. And it starts in the home. It starts in our home. Let's stop spreading prejudicial ideas to our children consciously and subconsciously. Let's stop it. Okay?
Absolutely.
And us older Americans, 50 years and up, 40 years and up, we've got some repenting to do. Let's keep it real, damn it. We have all made mistakes. And it is powerful when we go to our children, even our grown children, and say, you know, I was wrong when I taught you this and taught you that. And let us return to God and let us turn to one another in strength and in power, and God will reveal and raise up a just and mighty people, because America is a special place, brothers and sisters. It's a special place.
That's great.
Amen.
That's great what you just said. Yeah, amen to that. That was a powerful closing, yeah.
That is all that we
Chad.
want in Indiana. That is all we're looking for is unity. We want to work together with those that are on the line. Now I will denounce Antifa. I will condemn any action or the organization within itself, because they want to continue creating divide between BLM and everybody else. They want to use the BLM movement for the wrong reasons. The BLM movement is not a bad movement. It is a great movement, and I believe everything that they stand for. Okay?
There you go.
Thank you, sir.
I, as a man in this country, want to see everybody treated the exact same way. I don't care what color your skin is. Okay? I don't care. You have the same type of blood flowing through your body as I do. Your heart beats the same as mine. You are the exact same thing as me. You just got a little different color. But that does not matter to me.
Well, that's the problem. There you go. But that's the thing, and that's the message that we really need to end the podcast. But you see, we need to change our government's face and what it stands for, and how it pushes its agenda upon our people. Like Black Jesus Ministers did say, we are out there promoting America's strong hand across the globe. You know what? We're a rich country. There's no reason why a Vietnam veteran should be homeless on the corner. There's no reason why any of our veterans should be. No. It should not be that way. And that would set an example. That would shine a light.
That's a goddamn shame before God. That's a goddamn shame before God, and any military veteran who has been in the theater of warfare deserves a damn free house, a free car, and a tax-free life. And I mean that from the bottom of my heart.
You know what?
I appreciate that. Yeah. And Chad, of course, is a veteran also, so thank you, Chad. Listen, I got to wrap up the show, guys. It was a great podcast.
Okay.
Great podcast. Thank you. Yep.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Bye.